this whole Citizens United thing is basically just created something where, corporations or high-ranking members of corporations own all the politicians.
Nothing new there.
Yeah, I mean, right? It's like the best investment you can make. The
Still in a
biggest return on your money now is buying a politician. Like if you're a corporation and you're investing in something, or you're a integral part of a corporation, rich man or woman, and you're investing in something, your best return on investment is a politician.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give
Yeah.
them $50,000, $100,000 of their campaign, and you get millions and millions back in sweetheart deals and
Maybe billions.
billions back. Yeah, especially rebuilding the Middle East. I mean, that's been a bonanza. That's been a bonanza for years. I mean, look at how much money the Pentagon just loses.
Well, the Pentagon's doing an important job. They just at the edges, they're losing tons of money because they just are trying to deal with saving lives and getting military advantage. So I kind of give them a semi pass on that, but for them being misapplied as they are, incidentally, can we officially say that Obama's left the White House? He's already gone. I think we can. Right? He has refused to call out the radical Islam as a force of evil. He doesn't want to make any. I don't want to brand anybody.
Well, if you talk to a lot of people, Obama is a Muslim. Why would he call it his own people? I mean, he wasn't born in this country. B, he's a Muslim. He's a communist Muslim, and he might be a closeted homosexual.
Well, I'm not
So
sure.
of course he's not going to call it his own people. Of course he's not.
Well, yes, I think you're agreeing with me that he's left the building. But the French, as we predicted, they're going for it. Okay, now they're going to start doing raids inside Iraq, and so that's the interesting thing about the French. When they're very sort of seem docile until you attack them or something, and then they unleash they don't put the pit bulls on a long leash, they just unleash them.
Well, I mean, the French are arguably one of the most bloodiest countries in civilization.
Yeah.
When you just look at straight up blood and gore, and it's either extreme. You're right. It's
Yeah.
French bread and art, or just all out, elan.
Yeah, exactly. And now Belgium is dealing with it. But interesting poll came out yesterday in the Washington Post. I'm not sure whether it was a Washington Post poll. I forget who it was. It's probably someone that was contracted. 52%, this was just yesterday, 52% of the voting population wants someone other than people who have already been in office. And remember, we were just talking about this, about will 2016 be that year when people say, okay, enough is enough. You're not doing anything. Just get the hell out and we'll get somebody in there. If they don't do the job, we'll get them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and Hillary is now just campaigning like she's running for president. She's forgotten about Sanders, and is basically just like, I think, playing the card of, well, if enough people believe it's just me running for president, they'll look at the ballot if they vote and go, wait a minute, so wait, I thought Hillary was the only one running for president. And which, ironically, if you talk about polls, she loses to about 6 Republicans in a general election that Sanders would beat. But I think she's going for it's like the weapons of mass destruction. If you say it enough, people will believe it. And so clearly her strategy is just to go for uninformed Democrats and make them believe that, or that if you elect a Republican, it's going to be really bad. But really, what's the difference? And it brings up the thing of Trump as crazy as he is, and he is crazy, and he is playing the Nazi. He is running like a fascist, really. But people are still going to think when they're in their voting booth, wait a minute, maybe something will be different with this guy. If they're looking at like Clinton and Trump, and even though they know everything in my body says this guy's crazy and he's Republican, Republicans are blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Maybe something is going to get shaken up. Maybe there's a slight chance. Yeah. And if you look at Clinton's name, already know what you're going to get, yeah. Which is
the same
Republican light agenda.
Yeah. Well, one could argue that's what we have now, right? So 7 years after the financial collapse, the Obama administration has not indicted one major bank. They've indicted, one trader who was so blatant he was out. But he's a little fish. This has nothing to do with the...
Well, the banks elected Obama. They pulled him in the room and they said, all right, if you want this, you can have your health care. You can come out and evolve on gay marriage. That's okay. But banking, no. And we already know that Hillary is in that back pocket already. And, and Hillary's beholden to the Saudi Arabia and all the other think of all the deals she made as Secretary of State. This backwater that she's all beholden to. And crazy as Trump is, and he is, somewhere in the back of people's minds they think, well, he's crazy, but he doesn't have back deals with Saudi Arabia. And people are going to think, and if he's making deals, and because of his fascist rhetoric, they're going to think he's going to make deals for America. So...
I don't know whether I'd call it fascist rhetoric.
Well, I don't mean like...
True fascism. You mean the style of...
I mean the style, yeah.
You really mean jingoism, I think.
He's pulling from that playbook, and he's playing on people's fears, and he's playing on USA, and he's playing on, anything un-American is not going to sit with him, and he's not going to double down on it. And that highly contrasts somebody like Obama, who's very measured and very cautious about things,
But he's uninspiring. That's one of his problems. You can't get inspired by Obama.
Well, Obama was inspiring when he won his first election, and therein lies the problem. Is he was really inspiring, and now that inspiration isn't there anymore.
Yeah, the change never happened.
You felt like, okay, this is a young, idealistic guy. We're going to make history in this country. There is going to be hope and change. And granted, I think Obama is bashed more than he deserves. But a lot of, I think, what people were hoping for didn't transpire. And you're right, income inequality is still worse than ever. Nobody's gone to jail for ripping off, trillions of dollars.
The cost.
Nothing has happened. And the only person who's really going to address that is Sanders. But
well, we know Trump's going to address it in kind of a different way. He's going to lower the rates. However, to that point about these rates, you may have heard today that Pfizer and Allergan are going to get together, and of course, the reason is to avoid U.S. taxes because they'll become an Irish company. So,
I mean, the thing that Trump brings to the table is he's like that super decadent pint of Ben and Jerry's that's sitting in the freezer, and it's not going to be too good for you if you eat the whole thing, you're going to feel sick afterwards, but it's still there, and it just looks so delicious on some level, even though it's bad for you, and occasionally you got to indulge in it. You got to do it, even though you feel bad afterwards. You got to do it because it's there. Hillary is not a pint of anything in the freezer. There's no like, ooh, Hillary, yeah. It just doesn't exist.
Maybe what you actually have is a package, and you open it up, and there's nothing there. You close it back up. It was a package of rhetoric and platitudes, and you opened it up, and there was no there.
Well, you know, it's like rotten ice cream. You know, it's just you know it's not good, and you know you're just gonna get sick from it. That's it. You're not gonna enjoy it before you get sick. So therein lies the danger of Hillary being the nominee. Is I just don't think she can win a general election because the progressives hate her. Progressive branch doesn't like her at all, and a lot of people would be inclined to vote against her. So really, all she has going is uninformed voters, and well, I guess I have to vote for her. And whereas Trump, who, as I said, I think he's crazy, but people are pumped about Trump. They're enthusiastic about him, and
well, they're probably just enthusiastic about somebody who's really for America instead of always apologizing for America. Number two, they just want change, and that's the most important thing. They just want to change. Yeah, I think it's going to go beyond the presidential election. I think in 2016, at the congressional and Senate levels, things are going to change.
well, I guess the problem there is going to be that's why people like you got to run for Congress, because all the candidates are going to be people that are bought. So it's like whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, they're all in the same room. You know, it's like professional wrestling again. It's like they're all in the back room, all just talking with each other, chatting. You know, I mean, you know, Pelosi loves Lindsey Graham more than Bernie Sanders, obviously. You know, I mean, for girl talk, and so you know, everyone's hanging out with each other and just doing the same old thing. And so it will take a candidate that's not backed by the best investment in America. The best investment in America is buying a politician for any corporation. It is the best investment you will ever make. So there needs to be people, I guess, like Bernie Sanders that aren't backed by super PACs, you know?
Well, that's part of Bernie's appeal, and that's Trump's appeal.
Right. So, like, people like you got to run for Congress. You know, I mean, it's until people that aren't beholden to that, because even, like, I think what happened with Obama is they pulled him in the room and go, look, dude, for all your idealism, this is how the game is. I know you're a first-term senator, you're a young guy, you mean well, and we'll let you do we will let you do a few things. We will. But here is where you cannot go off the reservation, kid. And that's sort of what, because we live in a different world than when Lincoln was president. You know, I mean, like when Lincoln was president, anybody could walk in the White House. You know, there was no. It was a different time, and so until that happens, and how that happens, I don't know. I mean, maybe like people have got to run who aren't in that mold, and can you win without the contributions from all the money? And maybe yes, maybe with how social media has evolved.
And I think it's easier on the congressional level than it is on the national level.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get in your car and drive to the next city in the thing, or get on your motorcycle and go and be there for the next rally. Where if you have to, span the United States of America, that's an expensive deal.
Right. But it could happen. I mean, if everything blows up, and it's looking toward everything blowing up, it could.
Well, social media changes it too, in the sense that you can get the word out much better on a national circumstance than you could before.
Well, yeah.
Of course,
even ISIS uses social media.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
And that's one of Trump's big advantages, is that he can tweet something and millions of people will see it. It doesn't cost him a dime.